Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video and another beat breakdown. Today we're going to do some drill. Now obviously the more you do something, the better you get at it. And also, when you try some new sounds, download some new kits, you get some new inspiration. So I think today I'm going to break down what I did slightly differently to my normal drill beats. Go over the sort of progression I'm going through. And yeah, show you how to make dark drill beats for artists like Central C or Pop Smoke. So without further ado, let's get straight into FL Studio. Okay, here we are. First thing to start off, BPM 140, very standard stuff. We're just going to jump straight into the first sound. I used the Labs soft piano. Nothing groundbreaking here so far. I've just got a basic EQ cutting out the low frequencies. Anything above 150 hertz, around about is cut. Then I have this reverb with the pretty standard settings that I usually use. And this is a very simple pattern that I'm playing. Now we're in A minor, but as you can notice, we're not starting on the 1. We're actually starting on the 5th and we're going up to the 1. Now this could be used as E minor. However, some notes in the melody aren't actually in the key of E minor, they're in the key of A minor. You can see there's no sharps or flats. Now it's very simple. You can see a very occurring theme of the 5th. Now the 5th in the melodies, I've said this time and time again, sounds really good over either the 5th or the 1 chords in the key that you're in. So yeah, the first pattern sounds like this. Now, one thing to notice is the melody isn't completely quantized correctly because I played this in by hand. I quantized the bass notes because I did want those to be on time, but I left the melody slightly out of time to give it a natural feel. Next, I use this free contact bank called Sweet Melodic Choir. I'm always on the lookout for great choir banks, and this one's pretty good. I especially love the really low notes, so all I've done here is I'm just playing bass notes for this first pattern. So with the piano, it sounds like this. Super fire. Next up, we got Tenor Trombones in the brass section of BBC Symphony Orchestra. This is another free plugin. All the melodic instruments I use today, as well as the risers, are free. So we've got a very similar reverb as we do on the piano, as well as the EQ, just cutting out a little more of the low end than the piano. And the horns, again, playing a very basic pattern, just playing the root notes. And also for key sections of the song, like the hook and parts of the verse, I've actually got these trumpets as well for a little bit more high end and intensity for those higher energy sections. And it's playing the same pattern, just shifted 2 octaves up. Moving along, I've again gone to percussion in BBC Symphony Orchestra, untuned percussion. And I'm doing this pattern. The low F is like a cymbal and this high F is like a tribal stick sound. What I did is I just made a note, I stretched it out, and then I hit Alt U to chop it like this. And then all I did was I highlighted it and brought the velocity up slowly. And then for the stick hits, I just recorded it manually on my MIDI keyboard. So we have varying velocities and more of a natural cadence, rhythm, if you will. So this is what that sounds like. And those are all the main melody sounds. Very simple, straight to the point. I will mention that back to this choir bank, I did switch up the pattern slightly for the verses. All I did is I kept it on the root notes and just had it playing this one note over and over again. As well as in the hook, I have this pad. That's from Oversample's free sound chest pack. An ambience in there, and all I did was I chopped it and then pitched it to make sure that it's playing the same chord or the same notes as my chord progression, obviously. So yeah, moving on to the drums. This is Ghosty's Worldwide Drilling Kit Volume 2. Super fire kit, highly recommend it. Pretty sure he's coming out with a new kit soon, but yeah, I'm just gonna go through the drums real quick. We've got this counter snare. Sort of sounds like a slapping snare / clap sound. It's really unique. We've got the classic shot sound in drill. I've got it pitched down a full octave. So it sounds like that. We've got another perk. I'm not really sure how you describe that, but I think it sounds fire. Then we've got a rim as another perk. And that's sort of acting as the snare in this pattern with some slight variation. Those 4 on their own sound like this. super fire. I really wanted to go ham with these percussive loops, make it sound kind of complex. So we've got a pretty basic drill pattern we've got a pretty basic counter snare drill pattern here, except where the third counter snare would usually hit, we've got a roll into the beginning of 2-beat loop again. Yeah. Which repeats for 1 bar, and then in the second bar, we've just got a little bit of a switch up, which is another really common thing you hear in drill. And then again, we've got this shot sound playing this pattern, and it's got this like 3-hit here with the velocities varied. And I think with the natural delay in the sound and with the rhythm that it plays in this pattern here, it sounds really cool. And then this perk here is where I sort of went a little bit crazy. Where you see all of these notes, a lot of them are just trailing off. I sort of wanted to do like a custom delay effect in the piano roll. I like doing this where I have like the first one and then it sort of trails off and however often I want it to be with the velocities tapered down. And then I also have the first 2 panned left and right for a really wide effect as well. Yeah, that's most of the sounds. Now I'm going to move on to probably my favorite part, which is the grime 808. I think it's an 808. I'm not really sure drill terminology, but I think it's a grime 808. It's called Attack in the kit, and it sounds like this. And I went really ham with this because the sound sort of fades in. It's not directly on grid, so I did have to shift it 1 to the left where I'd usually have it. And it's playing a lot with the root note, the 5th of the chord, and just some other chords that sounded good as well, along with the melody. So it's sort of bouncing between and passing and grabbing from the chords in the melody, just wherever it fits nicely. Again, playing with the velocities. That's one thing I highly recommend. If you think your drums sound really like boring, stiff, play with the velocities, play with the panning, and that'll do wonders. I'll show you guys the kick. This is the full kick. I believe they've turned the boost up a little bit. This is the pattern. It sort of just follows the 808 and the grime pattern back and forth. It sort of glues them rhythmically, makes it sound more like they're passing between each other. And then finally, what we've all been waiting for, we've got the 808. Of course, we've got the envelope, everything at 0 except the hold at 100%. And it's playing this pattern. Pretty simple, basic foundation. In fact, this is quite a simple like 808 pattern when it comes to drill. Playing around with slides, sort of coming up with its own counter melody. That's how I like to view slides in drill, and I think that's the main use for them. Drifting between its own counter melody and reinforcing the melody from some of the main instruments. So with the grime 808, the kick, and the drill 808, it sounds like this. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is one of my favorite drill beats I've made so far. And if you also liked it, leave a like on the video. Subscribe if you want to see more content. Hit the bell notification to be notified next time I post a video. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you all so very much for watching. Take it easy, stay safe, stay healthy. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you.